Let me try that again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training. I am right there. That is Richard Carlton, creator of FMTraining.tv, where every day, Monday through Friday, we're doing great FileMaker training on a wide variety of topics with a wide variety of speakers. I want to call out, once again, special thanks and very interesting conversation yesterday with Hansa from 24U. And that session was not really properly titled. It was performance improvement, but it was really about building a set of relationships to hunt for date, matches of dates with a really, it was like 3 or 4 levels of performance improvements suggested by different people in the FileMaker community. And Hansa finally was able to roll something out that took, half a second that used to take 10 minutes previously by a series of updates. So we're going to be editing that video from yesterday, and then we're going to properly title it. And we need some metadata on that, Margaret, good search terms for it. Because generally it wasn't well titled. It was a performance improvement, but it was really specific techniques for hunting down, improving performance on date ranges with multiple dates on each side, right? So I got into some very interesting stuff. So let's talk today real quick about the upcoming broadcast schedule. The broadcast schedule today is going to be Christian Schmidt. I have Fluffy Kitty Alpha here. So we're going to pet the Fluffy Kitty. So exploring functions Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, but we're doing Christian Schmidt with Phidgets today. So what I want to do is I'm going to pivot to Christian Schmidt. Christian Schmidt, how are you? And I've been told it's very cold where you are at.
Yeah, it's freezing in Germany.
Freezing. Okay, freezing in Germany is like 32 degrees F or 0 degrees C, but that's not how cold it is. How cold is it there really? -7, you said it's -7?
Yeah, that was yesterday, yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's warm.
So yeah, it got warmer today.
Oh, okay. -7 C, right? Centigrade? Yeah. I always have to convert to them. I got convert to American, because we don't use C unless you're flying an aircraft, then they still use centigrade. All right, cool. Well, the cat is waiting for you to present something really interesting. So what are we doing today?
Yeah, I got a couple of Phidgets for you. So we finally got them. So let me show you a few.
Phidgets. Okay.
Yeah.
Phidgets.
So this company called Phidgets has a website. You can take a look. Okay. And it offers something like 100 different devices.
Okay.
Which you can use in FileMaker. And I got a handful. This, for example, is a little box with a distance sensor.
Is that an optical illumination checker thingy? What is that?
This measures the distance of something.
Ah, okay.
So it's probably sends out some kind of light and looks for the reflection. Here is the temperature sensor.
Temperature sensor? Okay.
So if you want to log the temperature in your office building near your computer, you could do that.
Yeah,
and
we gotta
send out an email if it's getting too send out an email if it's too warm or too cold. So,
not so much in the office for people, right? Because we really don't care about employees; they can just go suck it. But the server, if you have servers in a server room, you need to know how warm or cold they are, right? Because the servers don't do well if they get hot, right?
If you like to build a weather station, we have here a barometer.
Barometer. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it tells you the air pressure.
Yep.
Then I have here my light sensor, which tells you
that's
if
the
light's on.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, that's really handy because it tells you whether the sun's up or sun's down loosely, or if it's cloudy or whatever. You could use a lot with that. Okay.
Or if someone left the light on in the office at night.
Okay, you could do that too.
Yeah. The distance sensor, we came to the idea sometimes people need to automatically take pictures of things, hold in front of a camera, so the distance sensor could look if there is something. Then here I got an infrared receiver. So if you have a remote control, you could just turn things on and off.
Okay, that's one thing I've never looked at is the signals that come in through infrared on a remote control, right? I've never looked at what those look like digitally, right?
Yeah, well, basically, we can test it later. It's just 3 hex numbers or so per key.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
so you would in the script get the hex number and then decide which action to do.
Okay.
Then we thought about what we could do in case we have to show this to people live at an event someday. So we got two joysticks, which allow us to maybe make some kind of game to
Okay.
entertain people. So we have a joystick, which gives us two values, one for X, one for Y, and then there's also a signal for the button. So you can actually press down the joystick.
Okay.
So then I have here two devices, which are motion control, motion detectors.
Okay.
This one is
Is that
half of,
infrared? That one there, thermal or infrared? What is that?
yeah, infrared, yeah. It detects motion, and this is a half sphere,
A
and this
what?
is more directional. A sphere, like a half
Oh, a
of a
sphere, half
sphere.
sphere,
Yeah,
sphere. Okay, okay, okay,
yeah,
got it,
yeah.
got it.
Sorry for my English.
No, no, no. But I'm just I asked that question because if I'm confused, other people be confused too, except the other Germans.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So,
And
and
what's
this
that
is
one?
more directional. This is
So
also a
that's like
motion
what you use on a
detector.
door, like when you walk through a door in a store and it goes ding dong
Yeah.
and they tell you that someone walked in a store. Okay.
Yeah, for example. Then we also have the slider. Like there's a ton of controls. Like you could have five of the sliders next to each other, and you may sometimes need controls people can press with hand gloves on, or when it's dirty, so they don't need to go to a normal keyboard. And then I also have here two of the hubs. So you may wonder how to connect this to a computer. So this is first the USB hub.
All right. That one's pretty awesome.
Okay, so this can connect 6 Phidgets to one USB outlet.
Okay. Okay.
So, and before anyone asks about wireless, that's the other box here. So this box can connect six devices with either Wi-Fi or Ethernet. So there's an Ethernet port here,
Okay.
and it has its own power. So you don't need to be next to the device. It can be somewhere else in the building.
So you just, would it show up on the local subnet? Is that what it would do?
Yeah, basically. The local
Okay.
subnet, you can control it. There's a ton of configuration possible. And these are the devices I have. And so I thought we could maybe check out the example projects.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we got a few things here. Let's maybe start with one here, parameter. So the examples are all included for the upcoming version 14 of our plugins.
Okay.
So you can get them on the beta download already or soon in the final one.
When you say load
So
library up there, so do we have to load a Phidgets library
yeah,
into?
Phidgets is actually something you would install. There's a Phidgets control panel you get when you install it.
Okay.
So let me just connect it. So I need a cable. There are a couple of cables in different lengths we have. And I connect the parameter to the hub
Okay.
0 and the hub to USB. And if I don't mess it around, it should show up here soon. So we have here the Phidgets control, which you can get for Mac and Windows. You on the Phidgets website, let me just go there.
David Angel, he's connecting the sensor or the unit to the hub, the little, it brings in 4 or 5 or 6 X number of Phidget devices. Then his hub, there's two hubs. One's a network hub and one's the hub that connects directly to USB. He's connecting the one right now directly to the USB.
Yeah. So you go to the website for Phidgets, you can find a ton of devices there. And in the resource section here, you can download things. So I just downloaded the Mac installer. This will install a library file, which is, let me show in the script. So it's in the library folder by default.
Mm-hmm.
For Windows, it's a DLL.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you just have that installed the software, which is also helpful to just check out here the device and see whether it works. Like
Oh
this
yeah,
thing
you use
actually has pressure here.
kilopascals. I don't. Yeah, for when I'm flying the helicopter in the United States, some of the stuff is in metric and other stuff is not. And so barometric pressure is inches of mercury, so it's British for us. Okay.
Okay, so we load the library once, and then it's available until FileMaker quits. And now we can open the device. The plugin will ask for the first Phidget parameter to find. You can specify them by name, so devices can have a label. They have a serial number. You can also specify to open a specific one.
Okay.
And now we see here there are numbers coming in.
Okay.
Let me just blow in the device, and you see the number changes.
All
Yeah.
right.
So let's just take a look how this works. It's usually always the same procedure. You can call a new function here, enable server discovery, to start the library looking for remote devices like with the other wireless
Okay.
hub. Then we create a device, pressure sensor. You can create as many as you want. You get back an ID to remember, and then you can set options, or like here, add the script triggers. So you get a script triggered whenever such a device is attached. And then we
Oh,
tell it to
really? Okay, so that's a
open it.
plug-in initiated trigger. So the plug-in itself initiates the trigger when it sees an attach or detach. Okay.
So we open here the device, and then it starts looking for one to match our criteria, which is, well, just the type. And when we get the trigger, we set some properties, like here, send us new data once a second, and if pressure changed a little bit. And then we define which script to trigger
Hey, the cat.
for the new data and show a few of the values. And so when we get the trigger, we get a JSON, and we just pick out the pressure value. So I've used them with the USB controller and the wireless controller. That's just fantastic if they don't need to be in the same room. So that's the barometer. So let's see, maybe the distance sensor. So I just can disconnect the barometer and put in the distance sensor. Yeah, I can open it. Oh wait, I could show myself. And then I can hold it in the camera. So you see it on the screen. And I can put my hand in front of it, and so at different distances, and you see what values we get.
That's really cool.
What's the max range on that sensor? Distance,
I
millimeters.
think it's 20 centimeters.
20 total is the max range.
Yeah, it's for
Oh,
short
centimeters,
distances.
centimeters,
Yeah.
centimeters. So that's, well, 20 fingers.
More than half a foot.
So really can't see like across the room. So you need something else for that.
Yeah, you probably can find other devices there. Let me take another one. We have here the IR receptor. See, this one has a USB port, so it can connect directly to the computer.
Okay.
Yeah, let's allow this. So let's say open. And
So do you need to install something on the Mac besides loading the library into the plugin? Or is there a Mac or Windows installer that's needed, or is it plugin?
yeah, there is an installer coming with it. I showed it earlier, and there is a Phidget library file, which
So there's
Phidget
really
framework file gets
so
installed.
there's really two things you have to do, like software installation-y things that we have to do before this is going to work. Okay, good. I missed the first one. I'm kind of absorbing this, and the cat was trying to step on the computer and destroy the show. So yes.
If I remember correctly, you can just copy this framework with your FileMaker solution. So you don't actually need to install it, because not everyone may need this utility panel here. So if you just move the framework from one computer to another, it should also work.
Okay, so Stu has a really good question. I know what the answer should be, but I want you to commit to this. So Stu says, does the Phidget, okay, so let me back up. Does the network hub Phidget need to be on the same local network, or can it be on a remote network? So that, I guess he's asking, can you give it a static address or something like that?
Well, the answer is quite simple. It must be reachable.
It must be reachable.
Yeah, you can, of course, put it on a VPN and connect to a different building or a different office.
But you have to tell that little device what its network settings are, which means you'd have to have
Yeah,
a
you would
computer.
probably
Yeah,
tell
go
the
ahead.
plugin when you open the Phidget which IP to use to find it. So this auto discovery is, of course, a nice feature, but you can absolutely just pass in whatever IP you have for this.
Yeah, so the answer to Stu and David, port forwarding, sure, because that's a router function, right?
Yeah.
The device itself won't port forward, but the router will redirect the port.
So I got here a normal remote control for whatever CD player or so. And I can press buttons here like forward, and I get this hex code here, send. So this is 104655B. This is for left. No, left is A, right is B. So there are different codes. So 59 on the end is down. So you would have to actually press you have to press each of the buttons to see the codes.
Yeah, to see the code. But once you have the code, you're set. So
yeah, and then you can, of course, decide in your script when you get the code what to do. So like you could have a FileMaker running somewhere, and you could use the remote control to control it.
yeah, you have to have a business use for this, and this is where the audience comes into the conversation here a little bit. Suggestions and ideas for business uses. So obviously, we were talking kind of kiddingly about having our own personal marijuana cannabis garden where we would manage the temperatures of the cannabis and the moisture of the cannabis and grow the very best possible weed we could grow, right? And FileMaker could manage that. And that would be an interesting deal, but it's a problem for me because pilots who are regulated by the U.S. federal government aren't allowed to be growing weed. So other interesting things that we could do with the Phidgets. Suggestions. Ruben, I'm sure we'll have some.
The first thing is, what do you do with FileMaker? Do you have a need to automate triggering scripts in FileMaker, like pressing buttons remotely?
Yeah, I mean, we're back to this issue. Where would you? I mean, here's part of my problem. It has nothing to do with you. Part of our problem here in this conversation is that we have been doing we've been doing FileMaker and living with the limitations of FileMaker since it was created 30. I've been using it for 33 or 34 years or whatever, coming on 34 years. And so it's never really, really, really easily done hardware integration. It's always kind of a hack. And so as a result, I've conditioned my brain to expect that I don't do hardware control manipulation. I don't set up HVAC, heating and air conditioning systems, but obviously that's a classic case of computers these days talking to a heating and air conditioning system. But I would never, all those people have written their own things, right? So what would you use FileMaker for, right?
So let's say you have a big FileMaker solution running a bigger company. You may have some kind of dashboard somewhere on a bigger screen hanging in the office or the front desk, whatever, showing the next dates or so on the schedule. And you could use a remote control to do actions there, like move to the next page, move to the previous page. This is like where you have a computer screen without a computer visible. And instead of having some hidden keyboard to navigate, you could use a remote control.
Other ideas? See, that's the rub with this, right? So like Hansa was playing around with this stuff, and he had some customer that they were weighing produce or something in Africa, in Zimbabwe and Africa, some like complete third world operation. And then they were weighing it, and then it would be in FileMaker, then would print out a piece of paper, and they would take that to the market and this, that, and the other thing. That's a good use of it. I'm just trying to think of the killer application locally for this. Counting the entrance to an area. Yeah, the number of people that go in a building. That would be a good one. Okay, so how would you do that, Christian Schmidt? David Angel has a great suggestion. Counting the number of people that go through a doorway into a building.
Well, then I need a better sensor. I would look for, what is it, a light sensor, and would look for, what do you call it in English?
It's beam break. Go back up. It was beam break on the left side. Go up, down a little bit. Break. Yeah, is beam. That one on the left. The sensor can detect objects that break an IR stream. This is the way they do it at a store, right? So that's what you'd use, right? So it doesn't tell you which way the person's going. It just tells you that the line, that line was crossed somehow.
Yeah, let's just read it, what it does.
Okay.
It takes object passing through a 15 mm gap.
What? That's too short. We need a bigger beam breaker thingy. More beam.
No, the thing is just you have two beams and 15 mm distance. So if you break the right one first, you're coming from the right side. So when the object breaks the beam, the signal will jump up.
Okay.
You can adjust the sensitivity. So whatever you like to. So let's read here a little bit. It can connect to the hubs. It can be used with cables, yeah. Specifications. So this is basically
detecting max difference is 15 millimeters. Yeah, that's too small. We need one like that though.
So there's one for 30 also.
30
And there's one for
millimeters.
50.
Yeah, how do you? Well, this is kind of the idea. We'd have to figure this out, right? So some of these would be like if you were counting the number of M&Ms going down a slot, right? Then the millimeter checky thing, like the 30 millimeter one or the 15 millimeter might be okay because you'd have a slot big enough for a bunch of M&Ms going down a chute, right? Little candies going down a chute.
Yeah.
For people,
So
you
you
need
can-
something. Yeah.
You can look for whatever sensors I have. Maybe you may use here something else like gas pressure if you have gas. Use other things. Let me see. Here RFID. You could just use it as a card reader for your RFID cards. You can control LEDs if you have any lightning you need to control.
Yeah,
What wanted
Stu's
else?
asking, is there a Phidget for RFIDs? Idea, tag all high-cost tools with RFIDs and perform inventory on all the tools and locations, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
there's an RFID reader. A lot of RFID tags here. Yeah.
And that was one with Hansa again, but weren't we reading the contents of a box? We had a box of stuff, Stu, that you could, and it's all this open. It's nothing special Hansa did. It's just he was playing with the Phidgets and with customers and stuff. And you had to imagine a box of like a random 3-foot by 3-foot box, and you throw a bunch of stuff in there. And if each one had a little looks like a barcode, but it's a little RFID on each one, they'd have a scanner from the top, a scanner from the left or right, like at 90-degree angles. And it would get the contents of that box, give you a list with like a 99% accuracy or something, right?
So if you put the box near this machine, it should output something like 20 or 30 codes.
Right, exactly. So
That's just one possibility. The nice thing is that with the MBS plugin, we got a handful of functions. We integrated something like device types, and you can play with them as much as you want.
nice, Mark.
So now let's
Make sure you
just try the joystick. It's basically a digital input and an analog input for two. So let me connect it. I need more cable. So let's see, we have. So the hub has now connected the digital input from the button at port 0, and then 1 and 2 are the access. So I would say digital 0 and 1 and 2. So the plugin opens three fidgets here and shows us the values here on the layout. So I can press a button and you see there's a 1 coming. And it's difficult to not move the joystick. So I can move it all to the left. So I get a 5 there. All to the right, I get a 0.2. In the other direction, 0.0 and 5. So about 2.5 is the middle. So you can have an idea where your joystick is and can use it to, well, pick numbers. Like if you would have some kind of sound control or video control, someone could adjust it maybe with the joystick. Well, that's all for very custom FileMaker development. I mean, not for normal database stuff.
Yeah, no, this is a custom development for a specific integration at a business somewhere. That's it's been the trick to find that stuff in my line of work. For me, it's the door opener thing, but I have to sit and spend a day or two experimenting with it, and every day I have a couple free days, end up doing something else instead of that. So
yeah, with the door opening, you usually have an electronic door lock.
yeah, that's what I need.
And this door lock has usually a cable where you can put on power to unlock the door.
Yep.
And for that, you would use one of the Phidgets here. You would just use the hub and connect the cable there to make it a digital port. So you could just say, put power on it.
Okay.
And then you would have your power. I mean, it's...
How reliable are these things in terms of, durability? I just asked a question. I don't have any idea. My guess is some of these are kind of almost hobbyist level and they're interesting, but if you put them into serious production, you might want to carry a spare Phidget part to swap out the piece if it,
Yeah.
I mean,
you have to keep them dry. And with me here having the boards in plain sight, if this gets wet, it's damaged. So corrosion would kill it. So you would have, like the joystick or the slider, you would have to put it in a box.
Yep.
So it doesn't get dirty or wet.
Could you trigger a camera? This is from David Angel or Mikey. Well, Mikey had okay, I got a couple comments here. So Mikey says for doorway use an IR reflective proximity sensor 2 meter. I'd have to dig that in the website and find it. I'm sure it was there. Good call, Mikey. Ruben says an industrial environment offers a lot of functionality. Yeah, I agree. David says could trigger a camera to take a photo and store the image in FileMaker.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. With the only listen, the only reason I say absolutely is because I got Christian Schmidt here. Because if it wasn't for Christian Schmidt and someone said take a picture and stick it in FileMaker, I'd be like, I don't know. All right, we might need Monkeybread to use that.
So the first thing would be...
It's a compliment, Christian. It's an absolute compliment, right?
Yeah. If you just got the plugin for here, Phidgets, how many others? 24 functions. If you just got it for this, I may tell you that there are 7,200 more functions.
Ah.
And then you would look here for something like camera, and you may go to the AV recorder and just connect a webcam and where is it? Capture still photo, just get a picture. Or you would even, if you have a digital camera, like here, there's image capture, which allows you to talk to flatbed scanners and real cameras. Let's see, where is it? Request take picture. Yeah, here it is. So if you have a DSLR camera, you can just ask it to make a picture.
Yeah, for those of you wondering about this, even Apple does this to a degree, but when you go into like the Apple buildings or the Claris buildings, it has the option of having the camera on top of the computer and it takes your picture and then it prints you with a little label for your name and your badge so they know who you are. And it might even put your picture on it. And because it's Apple employees, they probably roll their own, with Xcode. But since we're FileMaker people, then we would leverage something like Monkeybread to do this. Doing the badge creation and printing the badge out of FileMaker, absolutely something. FrontSight used to do this, at a couple of customers would print hard ID cards, plastic cards, but they would buy the full color one. They take your picture, and then that would be part of the substrate as they put that straight into the plastic of that card and laminate it. The camera integration is a big one.
If you need help on printing, we do have a few print functions. It's all about integration and combining things.
Yes, it absolutely is.
I'm sorry, I'm staring at the dog here. So yes, this is what we're talking about. If you don't have a dog that'll get you a beer, we need a Phidget to open the fridge and then somehow kick out the dog or beer or whatever and bring it back to you. But that would be
Hey, it even closes the door.
Yeah, I know. That's a good dog. I got 5-year-olds.
That's better than children, no?
A bet. Absolutely. They just open the fridge and walk off. All right. Other ideas for this is good stuff. It is Friday. I know everyone's kind of tired, a long week, and then and people say, well, enjoy the weekend. And I'm like, dude, I'm working every day. We're heading into Engage. It's like no breaks. Hey, Christian, are you having a booth this year at Claris Engage?
No.
Okay,
I asked a few days ago and they were all sold out.
Between FileMaker and this plugin, and frankly, probably the stuff at 360 Works, you can just about solve almost any problem that's out there, right? And Hansa too. We love Hansa, so he has some important contributions. That's why we have him on the show. But I can't tell you, every day on all my projects that I build now, I'm using Monkeybread. I use it every day. So if we want to see that we buy Monkeybread because we think it's so great, where do we go? We go to mbsplugins.com. Is that where we go? You got EU up there?
mbsplugin.com. Yeah.
Okay, .com. Okay. Then we hit the Claris FileMaker. Then we go to buy now.
On the buy and you can order it. But maybe first you go and get a trial key.
Yeah, get a trial.
Because the trial allows you to play with the full plugin for something like 4 or 5 weeks without getting an annoyed license dialog.
Yeah.
So.
And then you need to kick a couple bucks and do that. So other questions? I mean, it's kind of a short day today, but it's late for Christian. It is Friday. I'm sure he's got and is it a holiday? Someone told me it was a holiday Monday. Is Monday in the United States a holiday of some type? Oh, yeah. Free version even gets you the autocomplete day. Oh, Martin Luther King Day is Monday. Okay, great. All right. Well, Ruben's right. Autocomplete is a function. Yeah, the autocomplete's good stuff. That's, and once again, I'm very enthusiastic about almost everything I see. I'm not so enthusiastic about a couple people. I'm making messing up. Overall, with the Claris community, the folks at Claris executive team, the managers there, Christian, Schmitz, Hansa, everyone's pushing things forward in a meaningful, useful way. I'm very excited about this overall.
Well, my sales pitch is usually that you can say yes to your client.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of more things.
Yeah, well, because saying no to your client, if you say, Margaret, I'd like to do camera integration into FileMaker.
Oh, that's awesome. I recommend that you get the MBS plugin to help you with that.
Because if you don't, what happens? You have to say?
You have to say no, which no one likes to hear and no one likes to say.
Well, saying no a couple times, you always have people saying, well, saying no to your customers is a great liberating thing for you to do. But when you say no 5 times in 5 minutes in a meeting, they're going to be shopping for a new developer. So
now the question is usually, can FileMaker, like there's a new customer who wants to introduce FileMaker in the company to solve a solution, to solve a problem. And they maybe have a checklist of 10 things. Can FileMaker do this? Does it have a database? Yes. Does it have layouts? Does it have reporting? Does it have printing? Does it have... And then it comes the question, does it talk to a flatbed scanner?
Yep. Does it? Can you get a screenshot from a webcam? Oh, can it talk to? Can it unlock the door where we keep all the marijuana? Right. I'm being serious. There's important things that have to be done. Can it open the door to the staff lounge so we can have it get a beer for us? The door opens, it flips a beer out, and it rolls down a little conveyor belt to Ruben's desk. Important things like that. So,
I wonder if you could connect like door opening to account security. Like a specific account can open specific doors.
Oh, absolutely, Margaret. That's what but I'm trying to find kind of a semi-turnkey where someone's already done this, so I can just take it and take their instructions and do it, and I don't have to like beat my head against the wall. But I've yet to have anyone offer me the door unlocky thing, right? So Stu
Right,
says
get an electronic door
I'm gonna
with a
get it,
cable.
and then it's gonna say like, oh, it doesn't work with Mac or some shit, right? It'll whatever. And then I have to call you, and then you're gonna say, well, Richard, I didn't mean for you to buy that one. I just got this other one, right? Stu says the answer is always yes. The next question: how hard and as expensive is it, and can I have it done in 7 days? That's the other questions that we get when customers ask, right? So you can have it fast, you can have it cheap, you can have it high quality, but you can only get 2 of those things. You can't get all 3 at the same time.
Mm.
Fast, cheap, and high quality. You cannot have 3. You can get 2 of those. You cannot get all 3. All right,
Hey, that's my
Christian.
plugin.
Yeah, and your plugin. Oh yeah, your plugin solves so many problems. It's crazy.
Okay.
All right, well.
That's it for today.
That's it for today, everyone. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday with Nick. All right, everyone, have a good day. Appreciate it. Catch you later. If you have questions or comments, you want to complain about the quality of this live stream, demand a refund, send an email to support@monkeybreadsoftware.com. If you have a complaint about the show, complain to monkeybreadsoftware.com, and make sure you use 4-letter words that he will understand in German. All right, cool. Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!